Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. Somebody asked, love these questions, about what if you really do need to eliminate a certain kind of food in order to feel comfortable or for it to be healthy in your body. Let's say you've developed diabetes and you really aren't supposed to be eating highly refined sugars. Or you've noticed something. You've tried the gluten-free route and it really means something to you. It's actually effective. It's like somebody in the Eating Peace program right now really was seeing when she just doesn't have all the carbohydrates that she's so eager and interested in eating available or like in her daily eating, things seem to work better. So where is this, finding this balance with I want to be off the diet. I don't want to think in this right, wrong way anymore. I'm tired of it. I don't want to restrict myself. I want to have everything available to me. I like that idea of thinking, and I just notice this one thing doesn't work, or maybe I'm really allergic to something. It actually doesn't fit with my body at all. That's maybe a little more of a clear message. What to do? I find it's all about finding mental balance on the inside. You can know when something works or it doesn't. You can know the feeling, and then there can be a lot of wiggle room in there. But first of all, let's just, if we can question anything that we find brings suffering, I can't have it. I'm not allowed to have it. These things that say, I cannot be trusted with myself, my own desires, my own cravings, my own movement with food, absolutely cannot be trusted. I don't have what it takes. Like something got missing in the mechanism that lets you know when to stop and shut things down and move on to something else besides eating. If you have that perspective, I just find that's going to lead to a sense of deep disappointment. So let's question today, you're missing something. And this can be in the context of I'm missing food that I can't eat, quote unquote eat, but like say we just know that you eat something and you actually get sick, or something happens in your system and it doesn't work. You have a stomach ache. It feels bad. So, okay, wonderful to just find with joy and loving kindness and freedom that you go, oh, I'm not going to be eating that. I notice, for example, something has shifted in the last couple years and I eat so much less meat than I once ate. Now, I don't have a never eat meat thing, but you could almost determine if you saw how I eat and what I eat from a day to day to day. There is no meat in days and days that go by. And I'm not saying, though, I don't eat meat every day. It's just kind of what's worked itself out somehow in the way life has unfolded. So it's noticing the energy with which you're eating anything. It's really deeply the energy behind any of this. If I feel resentful or like something is missing, whether it's in me, a mechanism that turns off the ability to stop, or something's missing. So I had a wonderful inquiry this morning. This is what I wanted to share with you all. It was in the Eating Peace group that's currently been running. We inquired on the belief, this moment isn't satisfying enough. And this moment that contains food being eaten by a human, which is me, just watching. This moment isn't satisfying enough. The plate isn't satisfying enough. The taste isn't good enough. What happens when you believe that's true? what happens when I believe that was true is, I'm into the next moment, I'm thinking about what else I can eat. What else is out there that I can get? Maybe if I go back to those things that give me a stomach ache, but at least I'll have satisfaction for 2 seconds, so I might as well do it. I also believe when I'm thinking the moment isn't good enough, I believe that I am missing something. I'm not good enough. This moment is missing. It's not satisfying. Oh, I'm also missing something. I believe, I'm missing the capacity to stop eating. Stopping is worse than starting. Stopping isn't the same as starting. Instead of just noticing the balance that happens with things go up, things go down. There's day, there's night. There's duality. There's a yes, there's a no. There's a start, there's a stop. What I find with compulsive eating is I liked the starting and I hated the stopping. Any moment that was with starting something, ooh, that's good. I'm moving, the future's ahead of me with all this pleasure that's about to happen. And the pleasure's over, and what happens is in reality, stopping happens. And I can argue with it or make peace with it. So you find your specific places where you notice it's not satisfying and I want it to keep going. You might even have friendship and connection. Somebody mentioned being at a meeting and how some people linger and continue the meeting and they're speaking to each other kind of offline. The meeting's over and they're still hanging around in the room and she wants to just get out of there quick. So noticing the flip side of the same experience of not wanting something to stop that's pleasurable, and that we can do that with people sometimes, is also wanting to run and have something stop fast that feels stressful. But dictating to reality the way it should go, faster or slower. And just noticing we're hooked up for food to be pleasurable. What I notice is when I eat food and I'm hungry, it stops being as interesting. I'm not interested in it anymore when the body is becoming satisfied. There's actually sort of an end point, and we go on to other things in the moment. There's other things in reality that are exciting. Even this room that I'm in this moment right now, it's the place that I do all my work with people, whether they're in person or on the video calls when we're working one-on-one or with the groups that I do. I'm always seem to be in this room, this little cottage that I live in. And I notice the chairs are delightful. The table is so gorgeous with its knotted wood. It matches the same color. The table is the same color as the floor. If I just spend time in this room, even though there's no people in it, it's filled with things that are so interesting. There's an entire bookshelf. I love books. But so this moment, in this same room, sometimes at the end of the day, which is the time many people have trouble with food and eating, I have thought, now what I want to do. I'm done. There's nothing else on the calendar. There's nothing else on the schedule. All things are complete for the day. What else do I want to do? And sometimes there will still be this sort of transition into open space moment. And very interesting to question the thought, this moment isn't satisfying enough, or there needs to be something more in this moment. When I really believe the thought, isn't that when like movies and Netflix and what else do you do? Go shopping online. You just see what happens when you believe. I need to call that person. I need to write emails. I need to look on the internet. Who would we be without that story? Who would you be without the thought? The moment when the meal is ending and there's food here, or the moment that I'm looking in the mirror and seeing my body, this isn't good enough. Who would I be without that story? Just noticing that things shift and move in reality. The movie changes. Things go slow and then they go fast. I go to sleep at night and then I wake up in the morning. What if this situation, this moment, this plate, this human eating, this being with food, what if it was satisfying enough, even when it's over? What if the moment's satisfying enough where there's no food in it? Could it be satisfying enough? What can you find that's satisfying about any given moment, any moment? One where you thought it was boring or, just not interesting enough, not entertaining enough, too overwhelming. I love all these moments for questioning, for inquiry, for the self-inquiry, for the work of Byron Katie. Those 4 questions and turning things around. Isn't it only my thinking that is not satisfied in this moment? The thinking is just interested in exploring. It's on an adventure the entire lifelong time we're here, right? It always wants more. But that can be stressful or not. I notice my mind loves to imagine and think of interesting things to do or places to see or books to read. It's also fine if they never happen. Ever, ever, ever happen. So only my thinking is not satisfied in this moment. It doesn't like stopping eating that food. So if I have that kind of inquiry, I can notice I just don't eat that food. I can say no. So we don't have to use this principle of not being a dictator around our food and eating to mean all systems go, let's eat all the time, because that's sort of a frenzy in the opposite direction. That's like, something's propelling me to make sure I keep eating. No, I'm getting comfortable with satisfying my hunger. I have a body here, apparently, as a human that needs to eat some food every single day. And maybe not even that's true. And then there's an end to it. And we move to other things. There's other things about life. So this moment isn't satisfying enough. The food isn't satisfying enough. This diet isn't satisfying enough. True? Maybe not. Who would you be without that story? You might be able to eat very simply, not much, whatever fits for your body. You don't have to have that thing that makes you sick. And notice that's okay too in the process of this. But lots of, not a big struggle or a war against that. It just relaxed and noticing the wonder of the moment with or without any specific kinds of food. So if you find something needs to be eliminated in your life, which I love this question came up, the place to question, the place to find inquiry is if it begins to be, this struggle seems to begin to happen with, I can't have it. It's not satisfying. Life would be better with that. Is any of that true? Who would you be without that thought? The you, the observer, the greater, expanse, who you are is the one who can just be with food coming and going, hunger coming and going, body being as it is or making changes. All is well. Just notice what's comfortable and safe and easy in this moment here, whether there's that food in it or not. And just keep questioning, inquiry. I love the don't know mind. The don't know space is so exciting instead of knowing. I don't know. How exciting. Who would we be without our stories? Right, I hope that helps. Take care, lots of love.